I have been talking and talking and talking and talking, and you couldn't hear me. Darn it all. It was such a good introduction, too. Hi, Sue. I, seriously, y'all, I have been talking and rambling, and Sue's here on YouTube. Thank you, Sue. That is one thing that I was asking everybody to do is if you could kindly, there's my face and my logo. If you could go over to YouTube and watch me there if you've been following me in 2024. I lost my monetization on YouTube because hi, Sharon's here too. And Kathy Dodd. I lost my monetization because I didn't create a video for like 6 months. Darn it all. So here I am. That's been my goal, and I'm working on it. I've done a much better job of creating content and trying to get everybody to follow me there. Good morning, Chi Town Gal and Lisa Sachs. She's sneaking a small break from work. That's so funny. I think someone else is too, but I'm not going to name names. I appreciate y'all, and I love that you're here on YouTube. So here's the deal. Catherine Pooler has a new release today, and everybody knows holiday crafting is my absolute favorite, and it is in full swing. And how pretty is this one? I created this yesterday, and what I spent all day Sunday and most of Saturday and Sunday doing, half the day on Saturday and then much of the day on Sunday. Look, I have been so busy. You know, I love to create my own ephemera. And this collection, this new release from Catherine Pooler, has all of the fun little bits and pieces to stamp and shade with the stencils. Let's see if I can get this even closer. Look, can you see the gold on there? A little bit of embossing, some inking. I even did vellum. I got so excited for all the layering pieces. Look at these little cinnamon sticks. How cute. Stamps, dies, shading stencil. I went nuts. Seriously, I spent like a day and a half creating all of my own ephemera because hi, Joanne and Melissa. I love to create. What I do is I sit down and I just stamp and ink and die cut and heat emboss, and I just keep going and going and going. I pick my color palette first, and then I create all my ephemera to make all of my cards, tags, treat boxes, everything. Like I have hopefully as much as I need. Lots and lots. So I'm already dropping it. So I spent those days doing that, and I just think it came out so cute. Have to say, I didn't venture out of my comfort zone, and like my poinsettias and everything's like traditional colors. But then I saw someone, it may have been Allison Cope, did her poinsettias in the Tranquil, the blue color. And if you did those oranges and black, maybe you could use them as wheels for, yep, you could, Sue, for sure. She did hers in Tranquil blue, and they were so pretty. And I thought, darn it, now I want blue ones too. But I mean, look at how pretty all of this is. Some I did embossing, some I didn't, some I just inked. Of course, you know, more is more. So I love the gold embossed ones, I think, best. So just so many cute things in there. So I wanted to show you that. And this is the card then that I posted, I created yesterday. This new Joy die. Oh my gosh. It is everything. And at first I thought, I wish it were all connected. And then I started putting this card together and I thought, oh, I like that the letters are all separate because there's so many different things you can do when they're not all connected in one piece. And because they're bigger letters, they're easier to work with than like little small individual little letters. Diana's here. Diana, you're supposed to be at the gym. So unless you're watching at the gym, shame on you, because you know, I would rather you be at the gym. And then look at this. This is the new cover plate. Look how pretty this is. And I put it, I don't know if you can really see. I like it behind this navy blue glitter paper. So, you know, I've done all this ahead of time, and I hope to have oh, Bonnie's here too, and she's got me on YouTube. Thanks, Bonnie. She likes to comment in Facebook, and then she watches on YouTube. So I love that. Thank you. So I hope to have a video on how I created all of my ephemera, and hopefully get that out in the next week or so. So if you're ordering or whatnot, while you're waiting for shipping, even though Catherine's really fast, hopefully I'll get this out in time for you to get your stuff, and then I'll have the video done. I'm not always the best, but I'm trying. I record it when I'm making stuff. So let's talk about this before we get started. And I have to tell you, oh, I can't click that. Let's do this. Let's do a face shot real fast. Look, I even did makeup for y'all this morning. My live crafting is normally not my best work, as you know, because I'm trying to watch comments, and lots of times I don't have an idea. I have lots of ideas in my head, but I haven't created something off camera that then I replicate on. So we're winging it, and it's not always my best work. So but we're going to have fun, and hopefully I can give you lots of tips and tricks and my thought process and things as we go. So let's talk about the color palette and some of my thinking and how I go about picking maybe other colors to supplement. Okay. So one thing that I love is Catherine Pooler. If you get the paper packs, and I tell you, you know, Catherine sent me these. I got to pick what I wanted. And I almost bought the other ones because I think there's one other one, maybe two. There's 12 by 12 and then one other 6 by 6. And I almost bought both of those other, because, you know, I love colored pattern paper. Sometimes I struggle with it, but here's what I really love. If you go to the bottom, and I'll go top down in a second. I love that Catherine gives you, hold on, I'm going, there. I love that Catherine does the colored card, the pattern cardstock, but then they list out the colors, the ink colors that coordinate. And I have to tell you, I'm such an in the box kind of person. I almost always follow this because you can't go wrong, right? But let me show you how I supplemented also. And I didn't do it with much, but how you could add in some other colors if you're kind of in the box person like me. So the colors that coordinate with this holiday spice paper, because I have to tell you how these oranges and cinnamon sticks and this plaid paper, how in the greenery, how perfect even for Thanksgiving. It's going to take you through, maybe you need a wine tag, or maybe you need a treat box, or some just grateful thank you cards for Thanksgiving. That's what I love about these little doodads and the ephemera I created, because you could do the poinsettias, let's say do them in yellows and then other reds, and give them at Thanksgiving also. Or how about little place settings with name tags, right? How cute would that be if you have a large get together? So I love to pull these inks that coordinate with the paper. Makes my life super easy. And if you're not familiar with that, they're always at the bottom of Catherine's paper packs. So here's our color palette. And I have to tell you, I also love that this pushes me out. Kathy, this isn't Kathy. Chi-Town Gal, tell me what your real name is so I can, like, said the 12 by 12 is limited quantity. So if you want it, get it. I always forget what your name is. Tell me what your name is and I'll try to remember. Okay. I have to tell you, because I'm such an in the box kind of person, sometimes I don't think outside the normal box to think that, like, wintergreen and seafoam would also coordinate with eucalyptus, green tea, eucalyptus, and spruce, right? But look how pretty this all looks together. And these are the colors that are listed on the paper. It's Tracy. Okay, I'm going to try to remember. Tracy, thanks for telling me. But look how pretty this rainbow is. Now, if you know Catherine Pooler's color wheel, most of these colors are from the Spa collection. The Spa collection, the Party collection, let me back up. If you're new to Catherine Pooler, which most of you I don't think are, Catherine Pooler basically releases her inks in two kinds of color groups. She has the party collection, which is the more saturated, vibrant, clear colors. And then she has a spa collection. And the spa collection is just a little, it's like one shade off more earthy. They're like cousins of the party collection, okay? The spa collection is a little bit more earthy, just a hint. And I don't know, because I'm not a true like graphic artist or, you know, trained in art, I don't know exactly what they say, but I think it has something to do with the hue. So when you pull those colors, you'll look and see where they are on the color wheel. And this is going to help you maybe pick some other colors to coordinate if you want to venture outside of those specific colors listed. So like rouge and peppermint scrub, I will tell you rouge is one of my favorite reds. I like Rockin' Red in the party collection, but I love the depth of rouge. And so I like that. So we have rouge and peppermint scrub. I also pulled quartz because it's in this color family, right? So if we have rouge and peppermint scrub, you can't go wrong in also pulling a light pink of quartz, okay? So I love that. So I pulled that one out. So I have my color family here. That's right there in that family, okay? You also have pink champagne and rose petals, but I like quartz a little bit more with the rouge for what we're doing. Okay, then we skipped the red oranges and then we went to apricot right here in our oranges. Well, if I'm doing oranges, I also wanted some others. So I pulled orange peel. Here's our apricot. That's our lightest shade that is in the paper palette. But I also pulled orange peel, mandarin orange, and I pulled ginger, the darkest color in that color family. So I've got all of them because with the cinnamon sticks and with the oranges, we can't go wrong. And you know, if apricot coordinates with this paper, then these other colors are going to coordinate as well, okay? Because they're in the same color family. So this is how I go about thinking about pulling other colors to coordinate. Now, as we go around the color wheel, well, in the paper, in the coordinating, or in the patterned paper, it's early in the morning, you guys. In the patterned paper, there are no yellows pulled. Well, that makes sense. It just doesn't go with it. But if we go around the rainbow, I always like to pull a yellow. So I went ahead and pulled my yellow group. I pulled whipped honey, shea butter, and goldenrod, just in case I wanted more of a rainbow and I needed to add in a yellow. It's still going to be fine. Don't stress that there's no yellow in the paper pack. We still have yellows in the rainbow, right? So I went ahead and pulled this yellow. I didn't use it much, but don't be afraid to pull a color that's not in there, because we're always think going around the rainbow. I always pull rainbow colors, right? It just, it's going to fit somewhere, but you don't have to use it. But don't forget that you have that option, okay? So there's my yellows in case I want it. Then we went over to the greens, which is matcha, sage, and spruce, okay? So what they pulled is the spruce in the pattern paper. I went ahead and pulled matcha because I know it's going to coordinate, but I didn't end up using it because we already had winter green, kind of a light green. But don't be afraid to pull that matcha if you want it, okay? So then we go on around to the green blues. This is, the sage is a true green. And then we have green blues, and we have winter green and sea foam. So you have this darker one, and then you have the lighter one, okay? Winter green and sea foam, and those are the only ones, and those are already in the pattern paper. What I skipped was in the yellow greens. Sorry, nope, they are not here in the, yeah, they are. My color wheel is a little bit off when it prints on the printer. We have green tea and eucalyptus. Between the yellows and the greens, we had green tea, sorry I skipped those, and eucalyptus, and they actually look really pretty with these other what are these? The green blues and the green. Okay. We just need more greens at that time of the year, right? So I like that. Whereas that pushed me out of my comfort zone that I wouldn't normally pick those. Then we move on over and we've got in the blues, we have Tranquil, which is this beautiful kind of pastel-y blue. And then I went ahead, because it's in the same color family, I pulled Juniper Mist, because if you know me, I'm going to pull Juniper Mist at every opportunity. And if we've got the light blue, I like to have a dark blue. This works for shading. It's going to work for backgrounds as like more of a dramatic effect. And you know, it's going to go with Tranquil. Okay. So it's part of our kind of rainbow we have going on here. Then finally, that's it that we've pulled from the color wheel. Then let's talk about neutrals. I almost never, ever, ever complain or even count it as a color to pull in neutrals. Grays, browns, black, in the browns, like anything tan, those I consider neutrals, and they're a free-for-all. They will coordinate with anything. You can throw them in, right? So for my neutrals, I pulled in, no, Bonnie, because I've already got my reds and my blues, and the purple I did not think would totally coordinate with the pattern paper. I've got my yellows. I've got all the other colors kind of in the rainbow except for that. And for these, I'm not using a purple for this palette. And you don't have to pick something from all around the rainbow, right? I just didn't think a purple would really coordinate with what we're doing here. So, I've got all these, but then we needed some neutrals. So in the paper pack, they pulled Macchiato. By the way, my favorite Catherine Pooler brown. I use it all of the time. Okay. It coordinates, like, it's like the perfect, you know how vintage photo is almost the perfect brown in the Tim Holtz Distress line. Macchiato for me is that in the Catherine Pooler line. So I pulled that, but then I also pulled Spiced, knowing it would kind of coordinate with that, and S'mores for a darker, dark, almost, blackish brown. Cargo is too, but I like S'mores. So these are my neutrals. And then these are the other additional colors I pulled in with these. Okay. So that's how I go about thinking about pulling other colors. Now let's talk about the pattern paper. I know there's a lot of ink here. So let's get them all in the color families. I'm not going to use them much because I have most of my ephemera. Remember, my ephemera was already created. But that's just how I went about thinking about colors to create my ephemera, okay? So let's push these out of the way. And now let's talk pattern paper and start thinking about what we're going to create, okay? Before I show pattern paper, let me show you all of the other products that I have from this new release. And we're going to use these, I'm hoping, today. First of all, and I had to order this on my own. Catherine didn't send this to me, but when I saw that it was being released, had to have it. I love a good fishtail flag, and I like that these are a little bit bigger. I'm hoping at some point she comes out with maybe, there's this die set that she came out with 2 different sizes. They're the scalloped, what are they called? The scalloped something. Scallops and dots. And she came out with 2 sizes. Hint, hint, I'm hoping at some point now she comes out with another set of these that nest in the middle and maybe even bigger, because you cannot go wrong. Maybe even a more narrow long one, which I already have from another company. So I've got that in my stash to use if I want it, but I had to have these. So I ordered these, love them. These are called the Nested Stitched Banner Dies. We're going to create a shaker with these for sure, right? We need a shaker tag, right? This is so pretty. It's the Christmas Glory cover plate. Christmas Glory cover plate. And I cut this for you already, and I showed it a second ago. What did I do with it? Now I have to find it. Here it is, over here. This is the Christmas Glory cover plate. Look how pretty. Do not think you have to keep it this size. We can cut it down, right? and layer it. How pretty with tags, all kinds of stuff. So pretty. Love this one. That's the Christmas Glory cover plate. This is the coordinating stencil, Greenery of the Season stencil. It's one stencil, and I don't know if you can see it. There, it coordinates with your stamped images from, this is upside down, Greenery of the Season stamp set. Okay, I used it to give me shading. If I didn't want to use the solid stamp, super easy just to use the one layer stencil to do some shading or to add in a little bit of shading. Okay, so it's like one stencil to coordinate with that. And I don't know if it comes in the bundle or not. I think it may. So there's the coordinating stencil, and then of course the dies, and this is the Greenery of the Season, like I said, stamp set. This is how I created all of my ephemera. It's got solid stamps, it's got outline, and here's what I love about the outline. It's kind of artsy funky. It doesn't have to line up perfectly. Do not stress yourself out about that, okay? Some of them even, like this little pine, even has like a layering piece. I didn't even use this, and I probably should go back and stamp this in some of them. So there's like an outline or a layering piece with all of the solid images, okay? But don't get yourself stressed out about lining everything up perfectly. I think it's pretty as like an artsy look. It can be offset a little bit, and that's what we were going for, right? That's what we're gonna say. And then here is the Festive Joy word die. Festive Joy word die. And that's what I used to create this lovely thing yesterday. So pretty, right? I love the little bits and pieces that are cut out, and look how pretty it kind of coordinates. The whole collection kind of coordinates. Like this goes with it really well. I think that's so pretty. And then with it is this Holiday Joy Sentiment stamp set. So you can use the big die and then add in like good tidings of comfort and put it with the joy, right? Wishing you a season of joy. May you be filled with joy, sending Christmas joy, peace and love, joy to the world. And then there's a smaller one, celebrate, and then this one too. So I think we need to add one of these, make a small fishtail flag or a little die cut and add to our shaker tag. So don't let me forget that, I think. And how pretty would this be to do the joy on a tag? So many different things to do. So I have all these ideas. Now I have to tell you one more thing that I ordered. When I ordered those fishtail flags, I ordered this no shaking tag dies. I did not order the stamp set with it, but I thought about it, you know me, and I probably will have buyer's remorse and wish I had, but I wanted these cute shaped tags to also layer. So if you're ordering, something to think about, if you don't already own this one, I really like these shapes. How cute to have a Christmas tree tag and just, create all your ephemera and create tags, and you're ready to go for the season. Do all of your prep work now so you have it last minute when you need it for holidays. So I did add that to my order when I ordered the fishtail flags. Okay, let's get going. Are you ready? Let's talk about pattern paper before we start cutting. Let me put my card away so I don't lose it. And we'll get these out. Let's talk about how my thinking when I select pattern paper. And I will tell you, I'm always really honest. Sometimes I struggle with pattern paper. Terry Moriarty is on Facebook and maybe TikTok. I'm not sure. Maybe on Instagram. She designs for 49 and Market. I think Simple Stories. She creates beautiful projects. Of course, Christy Marcotte, all of those. With pattern paper. She is a genius. So if you don't follow Terry Moriarty on Facebook, go follow her, because she knows how to layer, and she's the queen of pattern paper and layering things. So go follow her. But okay, Sue, I'm glad you say that, because I struggle too. But here's what I've learned over the years and what my thinking is in trying to put things together. Number one, look at the patterns, okay? We're going to look at the patterns. Is it a larger pattern? Is it a graphic pattern? And then number two, look at the colors. Those are the two easiest things I can tell you in putting together papers, coordinating papers, okay? So you want to layer them up. So pattern, number one. Also, when we talk about pattern, is it a small pattern? Is it a large pattern or like a medium pattern? Is it a graphic pattern, meaning like lines, circles, triangles, things like that, shapes? Or is it more of like a floral pattern, okay? And then number two, the colors that are in that pattern. Those are the two most important things. So I've already kind of gone through this and put this together this morning on my thinking. Here's what I mean when I talk about a graphic pattern. Here we've got this plaid pattern, right? Really pretty. And look at the colors in it. We've got the blue, we have the green, we have the reds, the apricot. When I look at it, what stands out? Well, obviously the green and the reds, okay? And then our secondary colors are apricot, the blue, those are, and then this winter green, right? But there's a kind of a bolder graphic pattern, right? Okay, easy, love that one. So when we think about that, then we like the reds, right? The reds coordinate for sure. Well, this red, it's kind of a what I call a graphic pattern, but it almost leans towards florals too. So look how pretty that would look together. This would layer perfectly. Look at this. Because you have the reds and they're kind of a different pattern. You have a bigger square plaid pattern, and then you have almost a small square, even kind of going, your eye thinks it's a little bit round, right? With almost a floral pattern. These would go perfectly together, okay? So we've got those. When we look at this plaid, we also see the dark green. Well, we've got this dark green. And we have the winter green and the red that go with it. So, and it's a foliage, right? Almost a floral. Look how pretty this would go. Perfectly together, right? Because you've got the winter green, you've got the dark green, and it's a different, it's not a geometric pattern. And it's a smaller pattern. Make sense? Okay. So, even all three of these would go together because you've got the reds with the red here, the greens in here, all of them, and the winter green. These three you could put together if you wanted to. Maybe it's a little too much for some of you, but it really would go well together, okay? So that would be a perfect combination. Now, when we look at the greens in here, we've got this plaid, okay? Smaller plaid, right? And this one actually pulls in the green tea and a little bit of sage, and then you have the winter green in the background. So obviously this is not too much of a stretch that these two would look really good together, right? Perfect. No worries on that one. Makes sense? Now, here's where we start getting into, you have a more of a bold kind of floral pattern with this background that's like green tea. It might be eucalyptus, I don't know. And then you've got your orange with your apricot, and then your browns. Remember, brown's a neutral, okay? So you could even use brown colored cardstock or create your own. Plus, there's a little bit of this winter green and even tranquil in there. So it might push you out of your comfort zone, but you could match it up with the blue from tranquil, or this like blue snowflake, right? That would go with that. I think that would go actually pretty well. And you could match it with the red right here because you're pulling the reds again, right? So think about that. Those are my best tips on how, because I struggle using pattern paper, what I might use with what. Now, next we've got this tranquil background with your cinnamon sticks. Look how the pattern is just a little bit smaller than this one. So could we use it together? Yes. But this one, even because it's got the lines, it's kind of a floral with almost a linear mixed with it, right? So you could do that. You could, because it's got red as an accent in it. Look how good it would look with red. That would look pretty, right? These three could even go together. If maybe you have a little hint of that green, that would look really good, right? So think about it. And you don't have to show a lot of a pattern paper. You could cut one little strip off and use it as an accent with these other two, because you're pulling the green and you're pulling the red there. Make sense? So sometimes we overthink it all, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Then we've got this beautiful one. This one is so light, it could almost go with just about anything we've got. And I love that. I could take a whole pack of this paper, right? Love it. Then finally, this might be my favorite one. And it's got the winter green, and it's got tranquil, and then it's got the red. So this could go with so many things. I think the easy choice is, obviously it's going to look beautiful with that tranquil snowflake paper. It would also look good. Now those berries, there's a lot of berries, but obviously it's going to look pretty with red. Easy choice, right? And then this is where I would struggle a little bit. Like it would be okay with that. I personally wouldn't pull it for that. I doubt that I would even pull it with this. Oh, yeah, I think that would be okay. It wouldn't be my first choice. Now, I do think it would probably look good with this one, with the dark green. Yep. Anything lighter with a darker one probably is going to look okay. It's not perfect, but it definitely, the colors would go together. So don't stress about it. Do not stress. Does that help? Hopefully that helps a lot, because I think there's some good combinations in there. And that's my thinking. Take it from someone who struggles with paper too. So let's talk about a tag. Let's start with just a shaker tag and make our lives easy. I do want to end at 11. It's 11 my time. It'll be noon your to Eastern, because I know normally Catherine goes live at noon, and I want you to be able to jump over there on her live on her channel to see what she's doing for the release. So I only have like maybe 25 more minutes, which is okay. So let's get going. Next thing, when I get dies, sometimes I hate to cut them apart. I'm going to cut these two smaller ones out, and let's see. What do I want to do here? Let me think. Let me pull my... If we're making a tag, we could make a big one, or we can make a smaller one. I think I'm going to leave the two bigger ones connected, and I'm going to cut these two smaller ones apart for right now. I'm going to cut them apart in just a minute. But now look at that. If you look at this, we have the outline, and then it'll cut it so you have a frame. And then we'll cut them apart, and then you can have the backer, right? So there's a big one. And this would, if I pull an A2 size card, let's look at how it fits on there. This one, look, could take up the whole front of a card. It's a little bit smaller than an A2 size card. So that gives you an idea of the dimensions. The largest die is probably about 3, I bet you any amount of money, it's about 3 3/4 inches wide. Okay. And it's almost as long as an A2 size card. So if you leave them together or you tape them together, there's a frame for a shaker right there. So I'm going to leave the smaller one, because let's do a smaller tag. You know why? Because I always say smaller real estate, easier to design, right? Don't stress yourself out. Sometimes when you narrow the focal point and you create with something smaller, takes a lot of the stress out of it. And because our ephemera is smaller, let's start with a smaller tag. So let's think about what we want to do here paper-wise. Let's use some, what do I want to do? Anybody have a choice? I'm thinking we will use, let me think. Let's do green. Or should we do plaid? I want to use green. Let's do green. Oh, Sue said plaid. Sorry, Sue. Because of the lines, I think it's easier. Sometimes you're going to lose a lot of this pretty plaid by cutting a frame out, unless we also left the background that way and it was kind of an eclipse tag, but we're going to do an individual tag. So if we use a plaid, unless we use it for the background too, it's going to lose some of its kind of the prettiness of the plaid. So my thinking is if we use the green and then we might use the red behind is my thinking. We're going to go very safe and secure in this is basically what it comes down to. So let's cut this. I have my die machine off to the side. Did cut that cover plate, so let's get these extra doodads. And it has a magnetic sheet. By the way, the new magnetic mat from scrapbook.com is out. And so if you don't have a magnetic mat for your die cut machine, I highly recommend you get one. And the new magnetic one from scrapbook.com is out. And while I'm talking about scrapbook.com, don't forget SBC Fest is a free event this weekend. Oh, Bonnie said she went shopping. She bought it all. Let me take a drink. Bonnie and I were chatting this morning and I said, it really is a cute release. Like everything in it. Did you see the nutcrackers? I mean, everything is so cute in this new Catherine Pooler release. SBC Fest. Here's my plug for this weekend. You know, I'm teaching on Saturday. Simon Hurley is the headliner. Christy Marcotte. And I think her name's Angelica Conrad. Like so many fantastic people. I'm honored and thrilled. SBC Fest, free event this weekend. All you have to do is go and register, and it's all live crafting, and then you can rewatch it later. And so I'm on there on Saturday, and all you have to do is go and register. Okay, it's going to be a fabulous event, and I would love to see you all. So let's get this run through. Let me get this. You know, if I leave this little doodad, I don't know if you can see it right there. It's going to put an imprint on my paper, and I don't want that. So if you go register, I would highly recommend getting the magnetic mat at scrapbook.com while you're there. And I'll put all my links for Scrapbook into the supplies list. If you are shopping, don't forget, here's my one little plug. And I always encourage everybody to also shop their stash, right? But you know, half the fun of crafting is buying. So I know that, and it's not like I don't know that. So look what we got. We got a twofer on here. We can use that in the background of our shaker, or we can use a different color, and I'd like to use a different color. But so if we do that, then we can create two different ones, right? So while I have this out and before it's cut apart, I'm going to cut my red paper. If you are shopping, don't forget, I really appreciate it when you click my supplies list and you go shopping from there, because I donate all affiliate proceeds. It's no cost to you. And if you're new, you know I donate 100% plus a little more of any affiliate tips that I get from companies. It's like a little tip they give me for sharing their products. And I only ever show things I love. I never show anything I don't love. And part of my integrity thing. They send me a small affiliate tip at no cost to you, and I donate 100% of that to charities. And I just recently donated to a veterans children's education foundation called the Killman Foundation, KILLMON, located in Georgia. Fantastic people. And I just donated, it was a whole year's worth. I'm not saving the planet with my affiliate money, but we donated $1,600 to the Killman Foundation to support children of veterans and first responders. And with 9/11 tomorrow, I'm not going to get choked up, but really, really important. And because it's veterans and first responders, so you can go check them out. $1,600 I donated. It was a whole year's worth of affiliate money. The funny thing is, I tell people I kind of save it up. I don't give it, every month because it's not a whole lot. But I save it up and I wait until God tells me where it needs to go. And it's funny because I was just thinking, well, it's about time to donate, but I had no idea. And then I met these wonderful people at the retreat in Georgia and learned about their foundation. And I knew it was time. He was telling me that this was where my next affiliate check was going to go. So if you're shopping, there's my spiel. I love it. Thank you, Sue. We feel very blessed in our lives. We've had times where we have not been so blessed, and we want to always pay it forward. And so, when things are good, we can do that. And so I appreciate all of you. And and I don't feel so bad, when people go shop and me plugging that, because it's all donated to charity. Okay, I cut these apart. I can tape them together when I want to make another frame, not a big deal. I want to cut the background. I know I could use these as the middle of my tag, but here's the deal. If we don't get it lined up just right, white is going to show, and that would drive me insane. So I would rather just cut another background while I'm here, and it be the full size so that I know no white's going to show. Okay. So thank you, Bonnie, for supporting the charities. I don't know where the next donation will go. I never know until he tells me. But thank you for clicking. Bonnie always clicks my links. I really appreciate it. Bonnie is probably the #1 supporter of charities. So I do always appreciate that. Okay. But I always recommend people shop their stash. Look how cute this is going to be. So we can put green over top of that one. And then I'm not going to cut it right now because I want to get going. But in the next one, we can do this one. But because I'm not using these, look how cute for the background. I can just create another tag using that. So we got 3 out of this one thing. Let's go ahead and cut it while it's here, because I hate doing work twice. So if you hear anything, by the way, Gaby's home. He comes home most every day for lunch. He has 2 college credit classes in high school. They let them do that. It's called dual enrollment. And he gets credit for his college classes by taking these college classes while he's in high school. And so he just got home and he's making his lunch. And so if you hear anything, or the dogs are out. I did not put them away. Normally I put them away for my evening lives, but I did not. So here we go. Now we've got this, if I can get it up. Now we've got our green. So we are ready to go. We've got, 3 tags we can do right there. Okay. Let's put this paper away. By the way, when I get my pattern paper, let me show you what I do, just so you know. When I get my pattern paper, like from Catherine Pooler, if it's 6x6, if it's my own pattern paper. Oh, and thank you, Bonnie, for shopping my Etsy store. She put in huge orders, so I appreciate that. Now where did I put it? Okay, I take one of my big, I think these are 6x8 stamp pockets. I always get the Ariel. There's a lot out there now. And I put my pattern paper, my 6x6 in there. And I just trim off the top. And that's how I keep it nice. There's also special sleeves you can get from Totally Tiffany and all those. But I have this, and I always have these, and it works perfectly, and it keeps it nicely organized. So let's get this going. Now, when I create a shaker, and I talked about this years ago, sometimes when we create a shaker, we get so excited about our beautiful new sequin mixes that we want to use it, right, in our shaker mixes. But here's the problem. Let me get it. We have this really pretty new mix with this new release called Frankfurt from Catherine Pooler. Okay. Look how pretty it is. There's Oscar barking. He like Gabe's his person, so he barks at. Look how pretty it is. Coordinates with all the paper. There's some wintergreen colors in there. There's green tea. There's like a not quite sagey green, and then all the reds, and even some iridescent that takes on a pink color. There's even some little beads. It's a perfect shaker mix because it's more flat. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. When you, and I'm going to pour this in here so you can see. Sometimes, oh, I think this one will go well because of the red and green. But I will tell you, I've done it before and created a shaker tag with our pretty colored mixes. And it's too distracting in the background because there's too much going on. But I think it's going to work with this one. So I'm going to stop right there and not go with that train of thought. If you ever make a shaker and you're like, what is wrong with this? It just doesn't look good. Take a second and look at the mix that you put behind it, because sometimes it's too busy and it detracts from your focal point. Something that you can do if that's the case is maybe you could have used vellum paper over it, and it kind of softens the look instead of clear. Something like that. Vellum's really pretty on that. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We're going to do this red with the green. And I also need to find acetate. And you know I love these little narrow 1/8 inch strips. I double them up. These should be on my supplies list from Amazon because I use them all the time. Looking to see where I am time-wise here. I only have 12 minutes, so we may not get this finished. But I wanted to go live. I wanted to share with you the new collection and some of my tips for creating your paper projects. Don't forget, one of my favorite things to make is boxes, and obviously there's just not enough time today. I almost wonder if I should go live again tonight. That might be too much. I might not have time for that. We'll see. I am leaving. I will not be live Thursday, my normal day for going live, because I am going with some of my friends, and we are going to Alta News in-person retreat for Saturday, and which is kind of funny because at the same time, I'll have to step out for my SBC, my scrapbook.com class, and to be able to chat with people as we watch the video. But we're going to New York, and so I leave on first thing Friday morning, and I need to pack up all my crafty supplies. So I will not be... Oh, Sue says I can't go live tonight because Gina will be live. And so we all know no one's going to watch me when Gina's live. I could go at a different time than Gina's live, but Gina's got her new release. So I know y'all want to go see that too. I forgot Gina, Sue, she does go live on Tuesday nights. So there you go. You'll just have to stay tuned for my pictures of these final projects. Then I'll get them done today and get them posted today. No worries, because we need to share with everybody else who didn't see the live, right? So making this shaker tag, and now we need to go in here, and you always want them to meet up, right? So you don't want any of our little bits and bobbles falling out there. See if this one will go. Yep, it matches perfectly. Perfect. And I'm doubling it up because if I'm going to make a shaker, I want it to shake, right? I mean, we're not messing around. So I double it up. There's that one. And now let's get this one. And let's get this trimmed. Guess what I did? You didn't tell me. Y'all didn't tell me. Remind me. I forgot to put my acetate before I put my thing down. Okay, we're going to switch to the next one. I forgot to put my acetate down before I put my foam. No one reminded me. We were all busy. Oh, someone interrupted Tracy at work. That's so funny. Okay, we're going to start over. I don't have much time anyway. Catherine should be going live. Let me get some acetate. Hold on. Let's hope I have some in here. Yes, I do. Let's see what size I need. I could just cut it with the die and make my life easy. Let's do that. I got so excited talking about everything else. I forgot to put my acetate down. It's been a couple weeks since I created a shaker, so, you know. We've all done it. Here we go. Take 2. Because I'll have to take that other one apart. Hi, Janine. How are you? Bonnie, I know. Yeah. They always chit-chat. Okay. Take 2. And if you use your die, as long as it cuts it out, you know, sometimes it doesn't want to cut out of acetate. We're going to have to trim it now. Darn! Nothing's going to work in the last 10 minutes, everybody. You know how that goes. Let's cut this. I got some new Tim Holtz scissors. You know, I love these. I got these from Scrappy Shack at the retreat in Georgia. And I can actually make it a little bit smaller than what it should be. I love these for going straight down like long projects. I love if you don't have Tim Holtz scissors, you need these big ones for sure. The big ones are fantastic. So like I said, I had one pair, loved them so much that I got a new pair. Okay, here we go. Now, what am I doing here? This is the red one with the green background. Yes. Okay. Now, and I love my 1/8 inch score tape for shakers. Okay. Score tape, tear tape, whatever you use. You have to have this in your stash. Is everybody like me and in full-blown holiday crafty mode? They don't stick to adhesive. Oh, the Tim Holtz stickers, I know. Although I have managed to gunk mine up for sure. Always burnish it when you put your tape down. By the way, if you are on YouTube watching, if you would be so kind as to give me a like and maybe even share it, or don't forget to subscribe, because, you know, we're trying to get all of those stats up. And I will definitely let you know when I have my ephemera video edited for all of my cute little pieces. Janine says no. She's trying to preserve her summertime. I know. But last year I got busy holiday crafting even sooner than I did this year. But it's my favorite crafty time. So, okay, now let's get this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit this up this way, and it will make it easy to sit it on the table and line it up, kind of the same way I do cards and things. There we go. That was easy. Hey, Gabe. I hear Oscar. He's yipping because he needs to go out. So It's a good thing that I'm almost finished because I don't hear Gabe out there to be able to take him out. Okay, so use your bone folder, make sure that sticks really well. Now I can add my, Sue does hers in September and October, she said. Now, sometimes what I do with these little strips is I will fold them over. Like if I fold it in the middle of 2 and 2, then it makes the double layer really easy. See this? And it sticks together, and now it's already doubled. Super easy. But I was wondering if you're doing an online winter retreat. Janine, I appreciate you asking me that. I am not this year because I had so much going on. I know. I kind of am disappointed that I'm not. I might end up doing something at the last minute. I'm going to Destin, Florida to teach over Veterans Day weekend, which is, you know, beginning of November. I could always do something in November, but I really appreciate you asking. Probably not this year. There's just I'm so busy. And like I said, we're going to Altenew. I have SBC Fest. Then we're going, there's a lot going on in October. And so probably, and then like I said, I go to Destin. So right now I'm not planning on it. It was a lot of work last year. I was not prepared for how much work that actually ended up being. You know, it was a lot. But I had fun, and I know. Maybe next year I need to plan another one. I had planned on not doing it this year because, you know, I had planned on having another in-person retreat, a second one in the fall, not just the Nashville Craft Retreat at the end of May. But then with the economy, I quickly decided last January that I was canceling that. So then didn't really plan anything this winter because that had been the original plan. Okay, that worked much easier doubling those, right? Okay, it is 10:58. If you are so inclined to go see what Catherine is creating today, I am pretty certain she'll be live here in a few minutes. So this red is going to go on the green background. Let's go ahead and get our shaker bits in there. Okay, and if you're gonna make a shaker, add those bits in there. Don't be stingy, right? We can buy more sequins. Don't be stingy, but you don't want it to be too glompy, right? It needs to shake a little bit. Okay, let's get this on here, and then I'll probably be telling you goodbye. And you'll see. So I'm going to, how I'll finish this is, I'll probably stamp one of those sentiments from the Joy sentiment stamps as a little, you know, fishtail. I'll add in some of our ephemera. And you know me, I like to layer it all up. So stay tuned. I'll get all 3 of these tags made and get them posted. Trying not to get my head in here. Let's get this. Yay, I think I got it. Okay. Then take, you know, burnish it so it sticks because we don't want anything falling out. Look how cute this is. And there we've used 2 of our papers. And then I will maybe even cut some of these shapes. Look, that's a good shaker tag. How cute is that? Yes, registration begins for next year's retreat January 1st. Yes, returning guests from 2024 will be able to register early. I should have used my anti-static tool because some of them are sticking around the edges, but there you go. Okay, everybody, go watch Catherine. It's noon. Happy release day. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned. I'll post all 3 of these. Bye-bye, everybody.